What's up, y'all? It's Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Start making those the sticks that you get in ice creams edible.
Oh right, aye.
Or even leave a wee bit so it doesn't melt, but the rest you can eat like a cracker.
Yep, like the bottom half of it, just a bit you hold the stick, but everything inside.
In the bottom half, they could make it. See, remember you used to get iron brew bottles with 20 pence on it. You just kept the wee ice cream stick as a token.
I don't know if I ever told you that I once charged somebody in the shop 20 pence one of my first days in the shop. I charged them 20 pence for it because it says 20 pence on it. My sister was like, "What the fuck did you do that for?" I'm supposed to know. The guy never said it, and the guy just went, "Alright, cool, bye mate."
Waited till you were on the till again to ask.
That's it. Where's that young stupid boy?
No. Right, you ready?
Aye, no structure.
Just
see what happens.
No structure, like an episode of Raw.
That's it.
Right. Hello, and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. I'm joined by Clive. Good evening to you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ricky. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm enjoying that we've got some competition on Wednesday nights now.
Before we get into that, you're actually not recording a Skype call, just so you know. I
will do that just now, just in case. Thanks for telling me. So there might be a wee blip momentarily. The blip was from me there, but it seems to be working all well.
Yeah, but
there's the blip.
More competition on a Wednesday night.
Aye. You want to break the news?
Yeah. Is it as of this week or is it next week?
I don't know.
I can't remember what this says. I don't know if we got a day actually. Keeping it strong style, we're obviously going to start. We normally record on Mondays, with being released on a Tuesday. Due to Josh's schedule, wrestling schedule. If any listeners don't know, that Josh is taking up professional wrestling and is learning the graps. So I think his classes are clashing with the KISS schedule, so they're going to now start releasing on a Wednesday.
So that means that we're going to see Young Boy in New Japan USA in the next few years?
Fingers crossed.
He literally will become a Young Boy.
The thing is, like, the guys are more than welcome to join us on a Wednesday, and you know, NXT AEW is a thing of the past. We needed the competition because we saw off those two, but this is quite a formidable challenge for Ricky and Clive, but we welcome it.
Well, if we're looking at analytics and ratings, then we are fucked.
I mean, let's you know, it's a new day for them, you know, changing the schedule, you know, who knows? Maybe people are not available on a Wednesday. Let's hope they are, because, you know, that affects the entire network, but hey, we welcome the challenge.
You know, there might be things like presidential debates or NBA Final Sevens, stuff like that people just can't find the time to sit and watch it or listen to it.
Or maybe they would want to listen to Ricky and Clive instead.
And then they just forget to download KISS.
And then in a few weeks' time, Ricky and Clive will probably end up changing days because they've been absolutely whitewashed in the ratings.
And then, or in the next couple of weeks, Kiss will send out a tweet saying congratulations to Ricky and Clive. Please remember this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh no. Oh well. No, I can't remember if Jeremy did give us a date. I think he just says just due to Josh's schedule at the moment.
Well, I'm going to.
And Jeremy, being a gent that he is, ran it past us to see if we had any issues with it at all.
He didn't have to run anything past us.
Not at all. He's a boss. He calls the shots.
Yep, he could tell us.
If he tells us to change days, then we will change days.
Well,
we will fall in line like the good soldiers we are.
We'll see about that.
I think, folks, if you've not already realised, there's no structure to this show whatsoever. Sometimes, rarely there is, but tonight I think we're just going to wing it and see where the hell we end up.
No, see, about that, this has been an eventful news week in the wrestling world. Not only do we have the two-time WWE champ Drew McIntyre, Zelina Vega was, I think she was fired. There was doubts about her actually quitting, but I think she was fired. There's been unionisation talk. Cody Rhodes has said some crazy wild shit on the AEW official podcast. So there's obviously a lot that the Ricky and Clive listeners want to know. So my question to you, Ricky, the burning question: do you think you could take New Jack in a fight?
What's my motivation to fight him?
I don't know. What if you just said something you don't like?
I mean, the thing is, Carl's a big fan of him, so, you know, I don't know if I could do that. But, yeah, I could probably take my fight. What, he's fucking 57? I'm, like, 33, 34 years younger than him. 23. 24 years younger than him. I could take him.
You just pulled that age out of thin air, didn't you?
What, he's 57?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's late 50s anyway.
Aye.
He's a good 20, maybe 25 years younger. 25 years younger.
He will be late. He'll be, after you've finished with him, he'll be the late New Jack. And your wrestling gimmick could be New Jack.
No, I'm perfect 10.
You could probably pull it off better.
I really need to get Facebook back and start uploading some photos, but it's funny because one of my friends from work says that he misses those photos.
You should do an OnlyFans.
Did you hear Zelina Vega might be doing an OnlyFans?
Might be.
I don't know, is she? Who knows? I mean, I wouldn't pay for it anyway, for fuck's sake.
As far as I'm aware, it's cosplay.
Right, okay. I wouldn't pay for an OnlyFans anyway.
But it's still sort of provocative.
Right.
Alluring images.
No interest in that whatsoever.
I mean, there's other stuff you can get online for free.
Exactly. Or you can just look at yourself in the mirror.
You look like Zelina Vega, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a good looking guy. Nothing wrong with that.
If you were to cosplay a wrestler for Halloween, who would you be?
Muhammad Hassan, of course.
I was actually thinking the other day, remember that entrance video you did?
Oh, yes.
That we can't say anything else about?
Oh, I wish we still had that.
Good.
Anyway.
The good buddy JR might still have it floating about somewhere.
Oh, we should try and reach out to him, actually. Anyway. A couple of things that you mentioned. Drew winning a title yet again.
Yep.
I mean, I love a TV title change. I think the last time we saw a world title, Universal WWE title change on TV was what? Brock and Kofi?
World title, yep.
Or even Universal, whatever. Like, So it was Brock and Kofi, but even that wasn't even like, that was almost like a glorified, almost mini pay-per-view type thing, just purely because of the hype it went around it, because it was debuting on Fox and stuff like that. So I do like title changes on TV, like world title changes. And I know a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't be giving away certain matches for free and all that. Well, sometimes I think it makes sense just to be like, well, look, you didn't tune in this week. This can happen anytime. You can always go with that narrative if you wanted to, if you like the WWE or AEW, whoever it might be. It just didn't make sense to me, though. Like, I thought Drew's entrance was awesome.
Apart from the Rangers tartan.
Yep. I love the fact that he, in the middle of the match, goes, "Oh yes, I can boogie," and people outside of Scotland probably don't get that reference, but it was a big week for Scotland last week, qualifying for the European Championships in football. But for me, the issue was that with Drew winning it, it kind of, two things caught to mind. Like, well, why did they lose it in the first place? And it almost felt like, well, we'll give it to Randy just to up his title reigns. Like, unless all of a sudden they've decided in the space of a few weeks, this probably wasn't the right decision. Like, oh, how could you come to that decision? Randy's not done anything bad or anything different that he's been doing these last sort of 5, 6, 7, 8 months. So, I don't know, that part I didn't like, just because I was like, well, why did you take it off him? You only took it off him like 3 weeks ago. So, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm even more excited for Roman versus Drew than Roman versus Randy.
Yes.
I know they had that match at WrestleMania about 18 months ago, but the dynamics are so different now, and both guys are like on a whole different level than they were back then. I'm hoping that we don't get a finish that I know we both hate, but we need to protect the loser or protect both guys. I kind of expect Randy to somehow get involved, and I hope it's not a case of Roman staggering and Drew setting up the Claymore and Randy comes out and causes a distraction and Roman takes advantage. I really wouldn't like that. I would rather have done it a different way, if it's something along the lines like both guys are on the ground and they're kind of getting to their feet, but Randy makes an appearance and then Roman takes advantage. That way, it didn't look like Roman was on the verge of defeat. Possibly we could get Miz cashing in as well.
Oh, I didn't think about that one at all.
I'll give a shout out to Caleb, because me and him were speaking about that earlier. He's the one that brought that up. So, like, I enjoyed the match. I have enjoyed the Randy and Drew match. I enjoyed this program. I've enjoyed the feud a lot. It just didn't make sense why you took it off Roman again. I know, like, and Paul Tully said something on Twitter. I was like, well, it was just kind of, it was fresh. It made people be like, look, well, something different, etc. And I get that. Like, I fully get that. But at the same time, I'm just like, you really didn't need to take the title off him. Like, I'm all for like giving us shocks and surprises, but sometimes you really don't need to do that, because there's just no need for it, because what's happening, what's working is good.
I just think title changes 1 or 2 weeks before Survivor Series have become par for the course on TV the last few years, especially with the brand warfare thing that's going on. So I although I didn't make it an official prediction, I had a feeling that he would win the title back. I've seen people say that they were shocked and disappointed that nobody saw him winning at Hell in a Cell. Nobody saw Randy winning at Hell in a Cell, but I was convinced it was going to happen with that one. So I think that's a wrong rated, personally. In terms of the optics, the aesthetics involved, I think there's a better story with Randy out of the equation for the Survivor Series title versus title match. Well, not a title match, but you know what I mean, champ v champ. And as you said earlier, Drew versus Roman speaks to me more than Randy versus Roman. One of the things that I was concerned about when Drew McIntyre lost the title a few weeks ago was that he was just going to be a once and done, and they would do a Kofi and just leave it alone. He wouldn't be around the title picture again, and that'll be it. He's had his shot, but he's now a 2-time champion. So that tells me that Vince does actually like him. Vince wants to keep him in the main event picture for the foreseeable, and you know what it's like. Okay, you can have long title reigns, but people start mentioning your name in the greatest ever conversations when you've got multiple title reigns. So I'm hoping that Drew can rack up a few more over the next couple of years to get him into that conversation, because I think he's done enough work over the last few months, nearly a calendar year now, to possibly be in that conversation at some point soon.
But only if the title reigns mean something.
The first one certainly did.
Well, definitely. And if this one only lasts a week, and it's it's why? I fully get you want to keep things fresh and all that. But for me, I had personally felt that when Roman and Drew both lost the title, it had to be a big game-changing moment and really elevated someone and made someone. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Randy. I've enjoyed Randy's work. But for me, if Miz cashes in on Drew, for instance, that would mean a little bit more. That would mean more than Randy initially winning it.
Mm-hmm.
And the same goes with Roman. It's imperative and important that you get who defeats these two guys right. Especially Roman and his tribal chief and head of the table kind of thing he's got going on. You need to nail that and make sure you've got the right person that's going to dethrone him.
Uh-huh.
And for me, the same goes with Drew as well.
There are a lot of people floating about the title scenes at the moment, which is interesting. You've got Randy, Drew, the Fiends sneaking about, and it feels as if they're gearing up for a Chamber match, but Chamber isn't for a long time. Just when you've got all these moving pieces, maybe you'll get a fatal 4-way for the TLC. Oh, that would be nice actually. But there's just a lot of people sniffing about, and for Drew to be at the top of that pile pleases me. Edge is still floating about. He's got unfinished business with Randy before he comes back and gets injured again.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't, we're not knocking Drew, the fact that Drew's got a title again, it's brilliant. It's the booking aspect that kind of just I shake my head at.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't make sense to me, because to me, you really didn't need to do that. But moving forward, Randy will obviously get his rematch. I expect Drew to take care of business there, providing Miz doesn't cash in. And obviously that rematch will take place at the December pay-per-view, and then we could potentially see Drew in a fresh feud come the Royal Rumble time. But this is a match I'm really looking forward to on Sunday. I think this is got potential to be a really, really, really good match. Looking forward to listening to the back and forth as well in the ring, because both guys have really that's a key part of who they are right now. The fact that we get to hear them in the stuff they say to their opponents right now. That element I'm really looking forward to. I even liked the little exchange they had last week on Friday, where SmackDown ended with Roman telling Drew, well, if you bring one of these to the table, then we can talk, kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. There's a couple of matches on the Survivor Series card that I'm actually looking forward to. Asuka and Sasha, I know they had a lot of matches during the summer, but I think I said it before, you don't really get tired of watching two good wrestlers. I expect this to be a pretty good match.
And I could see Sasha going over in this one.
Yeah, so can I. But I also kind of have a feeling Bayley might get involved. And then the other match is a tag match. The two tag teams, Profits and New Day.
You've also got Sami Zayn versus
Bobby Lashley. Disappointed we've not saw Bobby's sisters. I genuinely thought they would have done that. But that New Day and Street Profits match, I think that's going to be real good.
They'll pull out all the stops for that.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really, really, really good match.
And really, I think the biggest win out of this is Xavier Woods is wrestling again, because there was a long, long time where it looked as if he was going to be out for good with that Achilles heel injury.
Yep.
And he's back. What's the latest with Kofi? Is he still off? Or is Kofi he's with, because Big E's on SmackDown?
Big E's on SmackDown. And I'm trying to think who the Raw and SmackDown teams were again. The Raw team is what? AJ, Sheamus, Braun, Keith Lee, and Matt Riddle, was it?
I believe so.
And the SmackDown team is it Big E, KO, I need to look at it again, I can't remember. Seth?
No, I can't imagine it'll be Seth. There is a rumour speculating, making the rounds, and it also kind of makes sense that Seth Rollins will be written off TV soon because of the impending birth of the young'un. So I think something's going to happen with this match with Buddy Murphy on Friday. Buddington Murphy is the 4th.
So SmackDown, so it's Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Corbin. It says Seth Rollins. Is Seth in it?
Really? See?
And TBD. That makes sense. If he's going to be gone for, I could see him being gone and maybe coming back around the Royal Rumble season.
A wee cheeky number 30.
Even if he comes in before it, who knows? It'll be interesting. I think that gives. It'll come back a little fresh, and you know, I think people will still be happy to see him come back. So, and I'm also obviously like they're hyping up this whole Undertaker thing as well. I'm kind of wondering if we expect him to make an appearance at some point.
As long as it's just some sort of special segment.
I think it will be. I don't really know if he's going to get involved in a match, or who knows. Maybe he comes down and helps Team SmackDown get the win. Who knows? Something along those lines.
We're all kind of hoping that the Undertaker hangs up his boots and all that. Would you have an issue with Mark Calloway being an on-screen character? Like if he was just some sort of not a wrestler, you would?
What is he though?
A MAGA man.
Right, we know that, but is he a manager? Is he commentator? Like,
oh, no commentator, because you won't be able to shut him up.
Nah. I don't want to see him in that role at all. I'm quite content seeing him riding off now, and that's it.
Okay.
Speaking of Taker, have you watched the Taker Kane thing?
I have not. No.
It's quite good. Like, I love finding out backstage stuff and how things come together, and especially ever since Taker in the last sort of year. Like, we're seeing more and more, and that was the one person you just thought we're never ever going to get to hear from him, and the fact that we do, I think is awesome. Even Kane was like, I was supposed to come in, and it was just supposed to be like a one-match deal with him and Taker. That basically Taker was going to go over, and then that was it.
And
that would have been very interesting, but I think they were like, because it was so awesome, the debut made, and how everyone loved it, etc., and how much of a shock factor it brought, they continued with it. But no, it's actually really good, and the both of them says that they didn't agree with the decision for Brock to be the one that beats the streak.
Really?
And Kane himself even says that he genuinely thought that they messed the finish up. Like he genuinely thought that he was like, I now expect the match to somehow get restarted. And then they both did turn around and say that the one person that they felt that should have ended it was Roman.
What a pair of shills.
I mean, Taker quite clearly likes Roman.
Why? It's because he loves the Anoa'i's.
Yep, and I think we saw that though in that based on a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, and that would have been interesting to see how that went down. I think at the time, like that would have got Roman even more hate. If he was the one that ended the streak.
See, in the network, did you watch those Ruthless Aggression era documentaries?
Nah, I may watch the first couple of episodes if I'm honest.
Because they said it would be back in the autumn, and it is autumn, and I've not heard anything about them coming out.
No, to be honest, I've not looked, so I'm not entirely sure myself.
The Evolution one is well worth a watch. I would seek it out.
I think I might have watched that one, but I don't think I watched many others.
I can't remember if there was 4 or 5. There was a John Cena one, a Brock Lesnar one.
I think there's a Batista one.
Well, that was probably part of Evolution.
More so Evolution.
Aye. And I'm sure there was one more. Maybe just the general premise of there being one. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But we've not had another one. And they've been banging out the network content in the last few months because everyone's sitting in their rooms. So I would like some more Ruthless Aggression era documentaries, please, Vincent.
Maybe we'll get it. Can we talk about Zelina Vega?
If you want.
My lord. It's... Right, so we don't know the facts, right? But if she's not fallen in line in the sense that if it had anything to do with the OnlyFans or Twitch or Cameo or whatever it may be, if she's just been vocal and trying to be awkward and kind of looking for it, like, I don't really blame her. Like, the fact that, like, they're telling people, like, you can't do those things, like the gaming thing, and if you want to, like, in taking away extra revenue and extra income, and it's like, this is just bullshit. And this is where I sympathise with the current wrestlers in this situation. I don't sympathise with you when it comes to booking and lack of opportunities. I don't sympathise whatsoever. Because you hear about all these stories when people start coming out, well, I deserve better, and why wasn't I treated better? Why wasn't I elevated? Why wasn't I given this spot? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the reason why you weren't booked better, the reason why you weren't given certain spots is because you're Zack fucking Ryder and you're bang average.
Zachy boy.
So, like, you know, but that's where I don't sympathise. And it's like, well, no one told you to sign the contract. No one told you to go there. Like, and if you're really stupid and idiotic to think, well, I'll go there and it'll be different. Hundreds of wrestlers have thought that beforehand and it's not changed. So I don't sympathise with people when it comes to that. And it's like, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know you're going to go work for a guy that, quite frankly, can be a piece of shit. Or is, you know you're going to get certain things you're not going to like. You know you're not going to get the freedom that you might want. But you still went and signed because you wanted that money. Or you wanted the fact that you worked for the biggest wrestling company in the world. Well, you've done it. So look at yourself in the mirror and take some ownership and realise it was your decision to do this. No one forced you to do it. And the other thing, really, but going back to the whole Zelina Vega and Twitch and Cameo, whatever else, like, that's just ridiculous. Like, that's where even, like, the most hardcore WWE fans have got to look and say, you can't really defend that kind of stuff whatsoever. And I think the good thing with us is that, yes, we openly say that the number one product we watch is WWE, but we also watch AEW, I watch New Japan, watch a couple of other things if it piques our interest. But we call out the bullshit in the shocking behaviour, like your first piece of evidence, and the only thing you really need to know is like how much we used to stand and go crazy over Joe Coffey. The moment his allegations and everything came out, like, we buried the guy. We buried Jordan Devlin. You know, everybody loved Dream, but we buried Dream. Like, we stopped watching like probably our favourite WWE program in NXT UK because there was just far too much like nonsense and just pests in that brand, and no one coming out and explaining what's happening. So like, I kind of feel like I'm going off topic, but I just want to get this off my chest. And it's like, so we call out the BS that they do. What bothers me a lot is people are so blinded for their love for certain wrestlers or companies and people that they don't want to call out the BS that they do.
Remind me later that there's another person that needs cancelled.
Well, several people need fucking cancelled. Half of them are on our Twitter feed.
I know. Tolly, we're looking at you.
I was looking at Mags. No, like, but back to the Zelina Vega thing, like, fair play. If it, like, I've not, like, we won't really know, but even she came out on her Twitch thing and was like, look, like, I've got nothing but love for them. Like, I love my time there. It's time to go, but she was like, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth them. She's not going to sit there and badmouth them until she ultimately goes on that Jericho podcast.
Aye. After she takes a big boot from Brandy Rhodes.
Yep.
No,
that's it, and goes to the best booked women's division in all wrestling.
I'm very, very on the fence with this one. Not even on the fence. I've got a variety of opinions on it. First of all, if she had put out an OnlyFans 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I remember when Cody Graves had on the Viking Experience on the podcast, and we were talking about all the name changes stuff that they had going on. And apparently, you'll know more about this than me, but if you put in War Machine into Google, it brings up information on somebody for the UFC who was a wife beater.
Right, yep.
Does that ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that was the first thing that came up on Google when you typed in War Machine, so that's why management said you'll need to change your name. Fair enough, I get it. So from that side of things, and I don't know if it was because there was just a spike in the news, but when I heard all this thing going on with Zelina Vega, I typed Zelina Vega into Google, and before I finished it, the first thing that came up was OnlyFans. And if you've got young kids Googling that, it's the first thing they're going to see is the OnlyFans. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying that's a good thing that they nipped that in the bud. It's just maybe one of their reasonings behind it.
Yep. I completely, and that's why this says about the whole thing with China. I understand what they're saying, right? But to prove my point, right, how that's absolute BS, utter BS, right? I have just Googled Jordan Devlin. After his Wikipedia and Twitter, it is an article from essentiallysports.com. Jordan Devlin breaks silence following sexual abuse allegations. If I go slightly further down after his WWE profile, NXT's Jordan Devlin under fire for abuse allegations. If I go slightly down a little bit after that, and I'm all on the one page,
okay.
Jordan Devlin breaks silence on allegations made by his ex-girlfriend. Right? To prove that's not just a one-off, I have now put in Joe Coffey after his Twitter and Wikipedia. We scroll slightly. Scott's WWE star, of course he's Scottish, or he's not British, is he? Suspended amid claims he sent women unwanted porn, and I don't know what it says, I'm not going to click into it. The NXT UK's Joe Coffey suspended after sexual harassment. And one more, if you don't mind, I will type in the name Velveteen Dream. Here we go. Triple H discusses allegations Velveteen Dream sent nude, and I'm not going into it. WWE Velveteen denies allegation he sent explicit photos. WWE fans furious with Velveteen's return. Velveteen Dream denies allegation of inappropriate, and then whatever. This is all on page 1.
Okay.
And one more, right? Perhaps the most damning one, right? I've just typed in Owen Hart.
And that's the first thing that comes up.
The mystery and controversies behind the death of Owen Hart. Owen Hart death, how falling over it has changed wrestling. And the first thing on YouTube is the Dark Side of the Ring, Owen Hart final days. The late Owen Hart requested to leave WWE after the Montreal Screwjob, and then obviously died not too long after. Owen Hart's widow said he'll never be inducted into WWE Hall of Fame. Bullshit. All BS. That I haven't even went in to the likes of Ligero or Jack Gallagher or Matt Riddle or countless other people. So I don't buy that whatsoever, that when you Google someone, that's what's going to pop up. Well, funny enough, I would rather my kids saw those than saw allegations in people being proven right or being shown guilty that we've done all these other things. Or reading an article that says the most powerful man in all of wrestling continued a wrestling show after one of his wrestlers died in the ring.
I concede the point 100%. Fair enough.
I find that cop out big time.
Okay.
Like I said, I've not went into read all the articles, but at the end of the day, nonsense. And see this BS that people's put out. Oh, she tweets about unionisation, and then 10 minutes later, WWE release a tweet. You're like,
I know that.
Morons. Really? It's just stupid.
I do concede that point, and I wasn't trying to justify it. I was just trying to explain maybe that's one of their reasonings.
Yeah, I completely get that. I might be thinking.
With it seems like there's a sort of narrative out there that WWE will not let you not get third-party revenue. Right, Twitch, Cameo and OnlyFans, okay, I get it. You've got many wrestlers with YouTube channels, New Days, computer games, Shamu's, Celtic Warrior workouts, pretty sure Billy Kay's got one. Many of them will have some sort of YouTube channel. Natalia Neidhart and her sister have got one. And I've not got the figures there, but there's a website called Social Blade that tracks YouTube views and social media footprint and all that, and it gives you a rough estimate of how much they're making. So there's that. Seth Rollins owns at least a gym. He owns a coffee shop. A few of them do wrestling schools. Carmella owns a wine company, I believe. And you'll be damned, it'll be guaranteed that a few of them. Baron Corbin strikes me as a guy who enjoys a bit of real estate. So it's not all third party that's banned. They do have revenues they can get, and they're probably making quite a mint off it as well.
See, it wouldn't even bother me, right, if they said on Twitch, Cameo and anything else like that, right, stop using your wrestling names, please. Mm-hmm. That, where I wouldn't really have an issue with it, right? So I think so Undertaker, can you stop using the Undertaker name on Cameo, please? Fine, you'll just need to promote it as Mark Calloway. Seth, can you stop promoting yourself as Seth Rollins? Right, fine, he'll be Colby Lopez. So that I wouldn't even issue with it, because at the end of the day, they're well within their rights. And I think, I can't remember if it was a conversation with the guys or it was on Twitter that I put it out. Well, Chris Evans isn't going to. You think Marvel? Is it Marvel? Hopefully I got that right.
You did.
Do you think Marvel? Well, I mean, I've started watching a bit more. You think Marvel are going to say, "Yeah, you go right ahead, Chris Evans. You exploit the name of Captain America, even though you are Captain America, and you bring in money off our name, all for yourself." They would be like, "No, by the way, can you don't do that? That name belongs to us. You promote yourself as Chris Evans." And don't get me wrong, he's Chris Evans, so he'll get plenty of people watching anyway, because we all know who he is. So you just can't do that. It's as simple as that. That's not your property. it's owned by WWE. So in that sense, I don't have an issue with it. What I have an issue with is them basically saying to people like, "No, you can't do this, and if you want to do this, you need to do it like through us." And they're like, "Well, what if I want to do it in my own name?" "No, you can't do that." And they're like, that's where it's nonsense.
That's bad. It is bad, but there are other ways that you can do YouTube live streams on YouTube.
You can, right? But like,
see,
why should they though?
See, personally, this is just like personally. I've tried watching Up, Down, Down, and I give up after a few minutes because you're half distracted by the computer game that they're playing, you're half distracted by the banter they're having. So
see, I just like watching it on YouTube because they're a bit more condensed.
That's what I mean. Even the YouTube ones that I was watching, Cesaro, Adam Cole, Tyler Breeze, and Xavier playing Uno. Right, and I love playing Uno with the kids, so I get the Uno. But I'm watching it and I can't follow it because they're shouting and bawling over one another. And then when I'm watching them shout and bawl over one another, you end up drawn to the game. So with that's all recorded and segmented and edited. I've got no interest in watching wrestlers play The Last of Us. I don't understand the fascination with it.
Neither do I. I couldn't sit and watch you play FIFA 21. I'd be like, "Can I please get the controller?" So
exactly.
Like, I know a lot of people like that, and that's fine. I'm not knocking it. Just me personally, it's like, well, I'm kind of bored. This isn't watching like real football. Like, let me play. So I get it. But for me, I think bottom line, I think it's just them just trying to control what people can and can't do, and I think that's nonsense. And like I say, we're going to. I don't want to say we're going to release Zelina Vega because of whatever. Well, we're going to take control of your other income, and we're going to make a stand on this kind of stuff, but we're going to welcome back Joe Coffey, Jordan Devlin, Velveteen Dream, Matt Riddle, all these guys with open arms. And see the thing, right? Here's the thing. Out with Dream, Coffey, and a few others, right? A lot of the stories just kind of boil down to one person's word against the other. Like the thing with Jordan Devlin, like we saw graphic photos of the alleged victim, and I say alleged victim because that's at the end of the day that's what she is. But we don't know who caused those injuries, so it comes down to her word and his word. And I'm not going to sit here and say she's lying, but I'm not going to sit here and say she's telling the truth because you don't know. What I would have wanted was basically some kind of acknowledgement. I say this before.
That's all we want. Acknowledgement.
Like we want. You owe it to the fans and you owe it to the alleged victims. But like, no, look, we acknowledge this, what's happened here, and we'll release a statement. But you can't even give us a statement. Like, that's the bare minimum that's required. What we really want to know is like, so what did you actually do to find out whether these allegations were true or not? And please detail those. And then be like, well, we went and done this, X, Y, and Z, and our conclusion was that we believe he didn't do it. But we've not even done that. But you've just welcomed them back with open arms. And I tell you right now, Jordan Devlin, it speaks volumes about him that he turned off his people's ability to add comments to some of his tweets when he was coming back. Brass neck, we just turned to Joe Coffey just appears again. Dream just appears again. This is a problem. Like, you're going after people who are actually causing you no harm whatsoever because they're just out here just having fun playing games.
I know.
Meanwhile, you've got people out here who are actively and purposely ruining other people's lives. Allegedly, I'll put allegedly because, like I say, there's a few of them that you're just like, it kind of comes down to one person's word against the other. And how do you convict someone like that unless you get an actual until someone owns up to it? But meanwhile, other ones like Dream and Joe Coffey, like you've got the physical evidence right there.
I still think Matt Riddle's is a bit of a different case because he's acknowledged it, and it might be in your face and the brass neck of the man, but he's come out and said there's restraining orders and all that stuff. It's slightly different, but the issue with that, and it actually brings me on to the person that was going to cancel this whole thing with Candy Cartwright, who he's alleged to have abused. Drake Weurtz, the referee who loves the sunbeds on NXT.
Yep.
He is basically one of the heads of talent relations in NXT now, and he was saying to her, we can't have you on as an extra because it could be a conflict of interest because Matt Riddle's still here, right? So he got in, he was under fire for that. But my God, do you know what Drake Weurtz is up to these days?
Go on, tell me.
This fella, right? There's a very, very long... there it's there, hold on. Oh, just broke my phone. It's a facevheel.substack.com, and it's WWE appears to have a Drake Weurtz problem. So you've got the email gaffes, and I'm just going to bullet point all this. There is some social media website called Parler, right, which is similar to Twitter, except it's just a bit quieter. And people that are a bit more conspiring will go into places like this. So he is, I had to Google this, he is a QAnon supporter. Are you aware of what QAnon is?
Nope.
I've not got all the details, but they believe that QAnon, there are satanic Democrats who rape and kill children for their blood.
Wow.
So that's one thing. He's in something called Operation Underground Railroad. I don't know what that's all about. It's something to do with it. There's tunnels, secret tunnels between Mexico and the border. But he's also sharing misinformation from people called Annie Perry about the California law that ended discrimination in statutory rape cases. Parler, it has different things for retweets and likes. I can't remember what they're called. But he seems to be supporters of the Proud Boys, who have reported ties to white supremacists.
So he's a piece of shit.
Oh, I'm not finished.
Jesus.
His wife's account does the same things. Donald Trump memes all over his Parler account, Parler. He shares a post from the Proud Boys official Parler account celebrating the Million MAGA March. Sorry, I'm trying to read through a very long article here, but this whole Pizzagate thing, if you remember that a few years ago, where it was another thing about kids being abducted in a pizza parlour in Washington for their blood and all that stuff. Where's the other one that you'll just instantly... Right, Dr. Simone Gold is a hydroxychloroquine truther who recently self-published a book about fighting medical cancel culture, and 2 hospitals had to issue press releases disavowing her. Tommy Robinson, do you know this name?
Ugh.
He is liking and retweeting Tommy Robinson's tweets, and well, not tweets, parlors, whatever they're called. Tommy Robinson is an anti-Islam activist who was previously a member of the very controversial British National Party.
He created EDL, did he not?
Yep, a member of the English fascist political party before founding his English Defence League, and they are pretty radical. Retweeting and echoing, that's what a retweet is in Parler. He echoes Tommy Robinson's posts. Donald Trump rallies. Abuse within the party has gone unnoticed and deserves immediate attention. Parliamentary chair of the... So he's saying Muslims are always victims of something, even from a party who actively seek the Muslim bloc vote and turn a blind eye to the Islamification of Britain. It goes on and on and on. Drake Weurtz is a far-right conspiracist who hides in a lesser-known social media site so he can spout his bullshit. Cancelled? Ricky?
It's not even just cancelled, man. He's just a piece of shit.
And you've got someone like that who's in charge of talent and racing. They're like, okay, he's a referee. If that happens, fine. Because we've seen, like you said, Dream and Riddle and all that. But this guy has dealings with people. And his views could influence his decision-making when it comes to talent and relations.
Because these are the kind of people that are employed by that company. but someone like Zelina Vega gets released just because she obviously wants to do her own wee thing. It doesn't seem to harm anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Please spare me the.
It's the harm.
Please spare me the. She's going against her terms and conditions of her contract, or whatever. Like, yeah, well, Dream Coffee, this Drake, all these guys violated the conditions of what it's supposed to be a decent human being.
Ethics.
Yep. Just in life in general, but we don't care about that. Nonsense, man. Absolute nonsense. Just a reminder, just because you like someone doesn't mean to support everything they do. You are allowed to criticise them.
Mm-hmm. The Coffee Wolfgang.
If you defend these people, you're just as bad as them, and you may as well have committed the same crime that they've done.
That's a wild take there.
Yeah, it's not really, because if you feel like what Jordan Devlin or Joe Coffey or this guy's doing or Dream, or if you feel like no, it's fine, it wasn't that bad. Oh, okay, you're just a piece of shit as well.
Okay. I don't 100% agree with you, but not strongly enough to fight you over it, because I know you could batter New Jack, so I'm not going to go there.
It's not even that. I'm not saying that like you're as bad as them, but you are just a piece of shit as well. Then, if you actually think that, if you're actually going to try and defend some of the actions of some of these people,
but I mean, Jake Weurtz.
That's horrible. With some of the stuff you just said.
That's similar to J.K. Rowling in that they just are relentless with their bullshit.
Their hatred, and it's just like, how do you have that much hatred towards just people in general? Like, you know, like people don't seem to affect your life whatsoever. You
picked up on a very good point that it's the intent, the aftermath. Like, I don't know anything about Donald Trump's politics, but he spread a message that spread hate and division. Like, you can't have someone like that ruling a country.
You may not have been the one to pull the trigger in a lot of these mass shootings that took place in America, with white supremacists done, or acts of terror that they took out, that they done. But it was your message to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Bin Laden wasn't directly responsible for every single terror attack, like in the sense that he didn't go out and radicalise everyone or fund everyone or you know, but it was his message that reached out to all different people. So yeah, you might be he wasn't directly responsible because he wasn't the one that coordinated, etc., but you were indirectly responsible for it in the sense that you preached this message that reached millions upon millions of people, or reached billions, or reached the entire world, and people acted upon your words just the way people acted upon the words of Trump.
We've got political here.
It's Ricky and Clive. We go from one end of the spectrum to the other.
So we're talking about New Jack, and then we're talking about Bin Laden.
Yep. To steal a quote from Rance, should Cody Rhodes get this work as well now?
Oh Christ, that boy.
I just don't like him. It's for every single time he opens his mouth, and I'm like, you self-indulgent, arrogant, like, I just don't like him, man. I just don't like him. He thinks he's Celtic, but he's Partick Thistle. I'm just not a fan whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, like, when he spoke about the gimmicked chair, right?
Oh, remind me about that.
He did say, right, first he said, it looks like you've got, and I didn't listen to it, so I'm reading the transcript. He said it wasn't gimmick, but he was like, no, but it was sanded down.
The fuck?
So they gimmicked it, but the way he told, I think he basically told Spears, I think his actual quote was, swing for the fences or whatever. And I think the way it's hitting. It was like that part wasn't intentional. I don't think intentionally tried to hit him with a corner of the chair. I think that was just a mess. It was a mistake. The real issue is that you're going to Tony Khan and saying to lie. Like, didn't he then say to Tony Khan, well, if anyone asked, tell them the chair was gimmicked?
Aye, the Young Bucks. And then he doubled down on that on Twitter a couple of days ago, saying, no, it was a prop chair. But you just said in the interview that you told him to say it was a prop chair.
Right, exactly. So I don't know I don't even think he realises some of the stuff he says. Like, I think a lot of them over there just say stuff and don't even think. So it's like, was it gimmicked? Was it not? What part's true? But it's the fact that if you're telling us that I'm going to the owner of the company and saying, by the way, tell people that happened, but that actually didn't happen. Now let's flip it. Let's say Triple H says this to Vince, and Vince puts something out that turns out to be absolute lies, which they do all the time. Imagine uproar. But people wouldn't want to criticise them for it. Oh, why are we bringing up something from a year or 2 years ago? Well, moron, we're talking about it now because it's come to light now. Do you think some of these allegations that we're talking about now just happened yesterday? No, it happened a long time ago, but it's been brought to light now. You discuss things when a light's been shed on it and information about it comes out.
Yep.
So, I'm not a fan of Cody whatsoever. Could sit here talking about him all day long, but I'd rather not.
Right, well, I've got two things. Right, first of all, it was said in this transcript of the podcast interview that they got the magic guy in from WWE, the prop guy, to help with this chair spot, and it didn't work. So from what I heard, this magic guy was fired, or he at least lost that role as the magic guy. Is that correct?
I think he lost the role. I don't know what he then became or whatnot.
So he was either demoted or something, or he lost the position he was currently in. And before that, Cody Rhodes brought out their fucking dog for a fireworks show at one of their shows, and then had the audacity to say, yeah, that Brandy had words with that pyro guy and they were fired, they didn't come back. Two people who were involved in stunts or presentations that made you look like a big deal, it mucked up and they lost their position. Who's the common denominator in all of this? And it's just, that's two people that we're aware of who have been punished because of his decision making. Once again, really, why did he need to bring his dog out for a pyro session? Rab Ropes was saying perfectly well that Guy Fawkes Night has become a really bad year because of the fireworks that go on for everyone.
Yep.
Don't bring your dog out to a fucking pyro entrance. But the other thing, right, the television show of choice in the Clive household the last couple of months has been Criminal Minds. The show that catches serial killers and all that stuff, and they do a deep profiling of people's all that stuff, right? So I like to think I'm an unqualified psychoanalyst now. So this is a fact. What I'm saying is a fact, right? And I've got the definitions up. Narcissistic personality disorder involves a pattern of self-centred, arrogant thinking and behaviour, a lack of empathy and consideration for other people, and an excessive need for admiration. Others often describe people with narcissistic personality disorder as cocky, manipulative, selfish, patronising and demanding. And the other one that I've pulled up, a sociopath is a term used to describe someone who has antisocial personality disorder, or ASPD. These people can't understand others' feelings. They'll often break rules or make impulsive decisions without feeling guilty for the harm they cause. People with ASPD may also use mind games to control friends, family members, co-workers and strangers. They may also be perceived as charismatic or charming. How many of those traits do Cody Rhodes tick off?
Sounds like you just described half the AEW roster.
I described half of wrestling, to be fair.
That's true.
But he has the Booker's pen in his hand. So
I'm just not a fan.
That is, it's confirmed officially, medically, that Cody Rhodes is a narcissistic sociopath.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add on.
Right. Well, it's been an unplanned show, but it's been unleashed because we've hit some hot takes. I'm happy if you want to head over onto the quiz that we've been dealing with for the last wee while. So this quiz has been in the making for a few weeks now since Brother Rance was on, and we're going to basically test me on my American sports knowledge. Is that correct, Ricky?
Yes, looking forward to this. Random, it's completely different, but we're looking forward to this. Could get some chuckles out of this.
Shout out to the Chuckle Brothers.
I've got 11 questions. I just started naming done questions and I just got to 11 before I gave up. So we'll go for it.
Okay.
I'm starting you off nice and easy. Question number 1. NBA stands for what?
I was trying to think of a funny answer there, but I won't bother. National Basketball Association.
Correct. Question number 2. I expect you to get these first two, to be honest. Question number 2. The gridiron is what?
It's the markings that you get on an American football field.
Yeah, it's an American football field, to give you that. Right, here we go. This is where it gets interesting. The Pirates, the Penguins, and the Steelers have all got what in common?
Penguins.
And just so you're aware, they're all 3 different sports.
I know, I'm trying to think. It's the state. It's the state that they're in. And I've heard of the Penguins.
I would like you to be more specific, please.
I know, I'm trying to. So it was the Penguins, the Pirates,
And the Steelers.
Right, I don't know what Steelers means as a profession, but Penguins are round the water and Pirates are also around water, so I'm going to go for they belong in Seattle.
Pittsburgh.
I was close, only a few thousand miles out, just...
Yes. Right. Question number 2. Name one of the 2 teams that have won the most Super Bowls.
Green Bay Packers.
That's a very good guess. Very good guess, but it's incorrect.
You're kidding me on.
It's a good guess.
Right, well, what team was Tom Brady in?
New England Patriots.
Right, New England Patriots.
I mean, I'll give you it this time. Then you got that one right. Who's the other one? If you just happen to take another guess,
Miami Dolphins.
You don't get a point for this.
Miami Dolphins.
Nope.
Seattle Penguins.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Was it?
Yep. Right. Question number 5. You are aware who Michael Jordan is?
Uh-huh. He's the baddie in Black Panther.
Michael Jordan won how many basketball titles, championships, rings?
9.
Is that your final guess?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is incorrect.
6.
Question number 6. Which number did he wear?
Four?
It's incorrect. It is. I'll give you a guess. No, I don't give you. I'll give you a clue. Just try to think.
Mm. 88.
No. I'm just trying to think what the clue could be.
Link it to a footballer that I might know.
That's what I'm trying to do. Let me see. Right, okay. David Beckham wore this number at Real Madrid.
Oh, I don't know that. 9?
No.
Pass.
Maybe, I don't know. Right, 23.
We'd never have got that.
Right. So question number... Oh my god, what have I done here? I've given you 2 questions, right? In this, out of these 11, and 2 of them you can get worth up to 5 points.
Oh,
so this is the first 5-pointer. Name 5 NFL teams.
Okay. Am I allowed to say the ones that have been discussed so far?
If you want.
Miami Dolphins, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, New England Patriots, Denver Broncos.
Well done. That's 5. Kind of disappointed you didn't say the Philadelphia Eagles, but it's fine. I'll forgive you.
They're shite anyway.
I just won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Top of the NFC East, Carl. Anyway, question number 8. Brock played or signed with or whatever with which NFL team?
Was it the Minnesota Vikings?
Correct.
Oh,
You're doing a lot better than I thought you would.
Yes.
Question number 9. Who are the current Super Bowl champions?
Who is it that Carl likes?
It's not them. They haven't won it in like fucking over 2 decades.
Right. And I'm trying to think, when did Tom...
It's someone on the network as a fan of them.
I'm trying to think, when did Tom Brady move?
Just this past season.
So the New England...
in the summer.
New England Patriots?
Nope.
No, because...
the Kansas City Chiefs. Floyd's team. Right. Tight end, guard, safety are positions in which sport? So that was tight end, guard, and safety.
First of all, they all sound like safe words for the Dark Order's sex parties. Tight end. Guard. What is guard? I want to say baseball. No, that's a load of shite. Hockey.
NFL.
Well, I would have got it correct if you'd said third line backman.
I know, linebacker. I was making a point not to do that one. Right, last question. Worth 5 points. Name all 5 positions in an NBA team or an NBA. Yep, starting lineup. Name the 5 positions in an NBA starting lineup. I expect you to get 2, if I'm honest.
Hey, don't laugh, but winger. I specifically.
I'm sorry.
I specifically said don't laugh.
No, that's not correct.
Right, sweeper.
Not football.
I know,
NBA.
but
No, there's no such thing as a position in a basketball team as sweeper.
Right, defense. Right,
I'll give you clues.
front guard.
Well, you got one of the words right there.
Rear guard.
Nope. What am I doing right now?
Point guard.
Correct. What am I doing now, look?
Throw guard.
Nope. Hold on, let me...
Pointsman.
Hold on.
Kicking.
But what else do you call kicking?
Booting? Punting?
Aye, booting. Right, hold on. Ready?
Shooter.
I mean, what did I do to you, though? What did I do?
You shot me.
Shooting.
Right.
So, and the second word is one of the two words of the other position you mentioned.
Shooting guard.
Yep. If I'm stood in the middle of the football pitch ready to take kick-off, what is my exact location on the football pitch?
Dead centre.
I mean, one of them, the position isn't called dead centre, it's one of the words, and it's not dead.
Centre.
Yep. Let me see. You're quite tall, and I'm quite, in comparison to you, please don't say Asian or brown.
No, I was going to coin Rich Latta and say you're a bit mid.
If someone's the opposite of big,
Small.
yep. And I'm at 5'9", folks. I am like bang average. Yep. And
Small rear.
nope.
Drake Maverick's got a small rear.
It would be, say, not necessarily in a football pitch, not an attacker, but one of the front 2 or 3 players might be referred to these.
So they're not called attacker. Runner.
Nope.
Front runner.
Nope.
Sprinter.
Nope.
Just put me out of misery, please.
Right,
This is
so
embarrassing.
small forward.
I've heard of forward.
Yep, so small forward. The other one, the final one, is the second word is forward, and the first word is I'll just tell you power forward.
I've heard of power forward. Which wrestler has that nickname?
Power forward. No idea.
Oh, was it that fucking Mojo Rawley?
Oof.
Oh, he's a disgusting man.
Oh, you've actually done all right, Nicholas. Let me see how many you got. You got 1, 2. Maybe that one 3. 8, 9. You got like 10 out of a possible 19.
Do you know what? That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I mean, you did get some help on him, but hey ho, that's not bad. But you did get all 5 NFL teams yourself, which is impressive.
And the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
I'm afraid to say that it's Mark Coffey who's the power forward.
He's all right. He's the only good one at a Gallus. He's the only one that isn't a dick.
Really?
I think I didn't hear anything come out of him unless I've missed it.
Aye, but you're trying to tell me he doesn't know what your brother gets up to?
Maybe not. Who knows?
Should we call this episode Cody Rhodes is a narcissistic sociopath?
No, because Floyd won't be happy.
Floyd, listen, I've been watching Criminal Minds. What I'm saying is an objective certainty. Objective certainty. He's definitely those two things. Right. You've been listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network, where you can find other shows such as One Nation Radio, Keeping It Strong Style, who will be moving to Wednesday mornings. Grown Men Watch This Shit, Great Match Generator, All Things Elite, and 8-Bit Suplex. Please go to the Apple Podcasts and give us a nice juicy 5 stars. Also, you can get these podcasts and columns that we do over at socialsuplex.com, and if you want, you can press subscribe and get them sent directly to your email inbox. Head over to the show notes on this and you'll get links to the ProWrestlingTees.net site. Just type in Social Suplex and it'll take you straight there. You'll also get links to the donate button for the show if you want to let Ricky and myself become podcasting house husbands. Then also go to Twitter for @RickyandClive.com. No, @RickyandClive. @Social Suplex, and there's Wrestling Squared Circle as a Facebook group. That wasn't too bad this week.
No, you done well.
It was alright. Anything you want to say before we go?
No.
Okay.
Oh, in fact, I will say, listen to the latest episode of Outsider's Edge, please.
Oh, that was hot.
Yep. Enjoyed it.
You're just sitting there.
Enjoyed it.
Like, you don't smoke, but you lit a fag and smoked it quickly because it was just that satisfying.
Yep. And anyone that knows, I don't know. We don't need to clarify the meaning of that word that you just said.
No, they know it's slang for cigarette here.
Yep.
Just like smoking itself, old habits die hard. Sorry for that, and sorry for the content tonight.
No, the content was solid enough, I would say.
If you're not down with that, I want this to be our new sign off. If you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you. Go fuck yourself.
Take care, folks. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Cancel Drake Weurtz.
By the way, I'm self-isolating at this moment in time.
Yep.
My 4-year-old son has a fever and a bit of a sore throat. He was kept off school. I was the elder one. I'm working from home anyway. So I am currently self-isolating while we wait to get the test and the results back. And we go into lockdown this Friday. Woohoo!
Tier 4.
Yep. That changes absolutely nothing in my life.
Aye. I don't socialise.
That's what I'm saying. I've not been out this entire time, so it doesn't really matter to me.
In all seriousness, my social life is WhatsApp.
Yep.
And I'm happy with that.
WhatsApp and the odd, some in the messenger groups, and that's about it. I'm content with that at this moment in time. Wear a mask, stay inside. Stop being selfish, people.
Wear a mask, stay inside, and don't do drugs. Good night.
Take care, folks.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.